Okay. Well. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you on today's show, the Marketing Commandos show. I'm really happy to see you guys today. We're going to talk about how to build blind trust in your company online. And that's a big topic because if people don't believe in you in the first place, they won't buy from you. People buy from other people they believe in, causes they support. And in order to have that, there are multiple ways you can make sure you achieve their results online. And I'm going to share with you everything that you need to know and the steps, the mistakes that you may need to avoid. Let's get started. I'm going to share with you my screen. I'm going to try to use those shortcuts to get better at switching screens and all that to make it more entertaining for you guys. Here we go. How to build trust, blind trust in your company online. How can you do that? Well, I'm going to talk about that today. So for those who may not know me, I'm Gabriel Julier. I'm French, bonjour à tous. And I'm the founder and CEO of Julier Media and Julier Production, blowing up your marketing strategy and making sure we create content that's incredibly looking and that converts incredibly well as well. That's what I do. That's what we do. And that's basically me. Now that you know who I am, we're going to get back to the subject. How to build blind trust in your company, in yourself, online. How can you do that? Well, first, remember to subscribe or to notify the room if you want to join the Clubhouse room. I cannot see. Maybe you can see here a bit. You can join the Clubhouse room and ask your questions. You can go in there and ask your questions. If that's something that you would like to do, we can jump on and ask your questions live. That's totally fine. I'm going to be able to answer them to you live. We already did that yesterday. That was incredible. Jose, my friend Jose, got some incredible value out of that. If you have any questions about online marketing or anything that can relate to it, I can help you out. So make sure you join the Clubhouse room Marketing Commandos to ask your questions live. We do that every single day, every day of the week and the weekend, every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get started with today's topic. What are the best way to build trust online? How can you do that? I'm going to switch back to my view. How can you do that? How can you build trust online? Well, there are multiple ways you can do that, but first you need to figure out that, hey, my goal, guys, I always wanted to help out people. I'm the kind of guy, I'm the big brother. I'm always that guy that wants to help out everybody and that wants to make sure everybody gets what they want out of life, out of any moments that I'm in. I'm the big brother and I wanted to help out people. The thing is, because I wasn't relevant enough at that time, I wasn't able to communicate what I wanted, that urge that I had got to help people enough. I wasn't able to really spread the message and make sure people understood that I wanted to help them. So I tried out different ways to do that, and with a lot of struggle, I figured out a lot of things on how to make sure that you can build that trust and you can help the people that you want to help online. I'm going to go back on the screen share, and those are the three things that I discovered. First is that you need to be posting on a regular basis. You need to be relevant, because if you're not relevant with your posting, you're not consistent, people are going to see that. That's a great representation of who you are. Are you consistent? Are you focused? Are you delivering value, or are you just here to take your part of the cake? You have to figure that out and how you can make sure to be posting on a regular basis. That's going to separate you from the competition, because they're not doing that, and you're going to be able to build a genuine trust that people are going to have you if you create content on a regular basis that provides value. Next thing that I figured out was you need to provide value, as I talked about. Providing value is a huge thing, because you can be posting things that nobody cares about. And as I told in the previous point, if you're just here to take your part of the cake, that's selfish, and people are going to see that. You have to give whatever you got. The knowledge, the things that you got are incredibly huge. And that's incredibly important. I'm going to touch on that because a lot of you don't realize the knowledge that you got. Everything that you do, well, you know it, so you take it for granted because you know what it is, you know how it works, you know how to do certain things. And you don't realize that people don't know how to do that same thing. They don't know. And even if you provide a little value, something that's maybe stupid for you, but the other person next to it doesn't know it, it can provide a huge amount of value to them. So make sure you have that realization that if you create content, if you create things, if you give with the intention of providing value, you are going to get your piece back. But the thing is, you have to do it genuinely, not giving just because you want to get your piece back. Of course you want. But the thing is, you are not doing it for that reason. You are doing it because you provide value. That's going to be more genuine and people are going to see that in your content. And last thing I want to talk about, and that's a huge thing, that's more something that you can do in order to build instant trust. I really love doing that, and actually I'm doing it right now, is going live. Going live. Going live, well, that builds a lot of trust because we are here, I'm talking with you right now, there is no recording, second takes. If I F up, if I do a mistake, it's live and well, I did a mistake. I'm sorry. So I'm able to share with you my most vulnerable side of me because I have nothing to hide to you. And people really relate to that. People that can jump on live and see what you're doing, that can create a lot of trust. Let's say I'll get an example popping in my head right now. Let's say your job is to interior design houses or renovate houses, for example. Let's say, okay, you've got a job, you're here changing things up in the house, and you do a live stream so people can see what you're doing. They can ask questions and they can say, oh, okay, I didn't saw the job from that angle. That's how they do that. Okay, interesting, I see that. Now, hey, how do they do that? What does, like, and they can ask questions to you, how it works, how you do it, and that's extremely genuine because people are going to see what you're doing live. Well, and that's incredibly powerful to build trust with people because they can directly talk to you. It's pretty much if they were talking to you in real life, but over the internet. That's the truest, rawest form of communication, and I truly advise you to try it out because that's going to help you to relate and to connect with your customer extremely fast. I'm going to go back on the screen share and we're going to go to the next step of today's episode. First, remember, we do that show every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, Marketing Commandos. You have two options. I'm giving you options. I'm a nice guy. You can either go on YouTube at Gabriel Judier and watch the show with the video and the slides that shows with the show. That's a lot of words, but hey, you know, I told you, in life you can do mistakes, but it's genuine. I'm not perfect. And people like that. Second thing you can do is to go on the Clubhouse room. On the Clubhouse room, actually the club thing that's called a club. I'm figuring that whole thing out. The Club Marketing Commandos, where you can jump on and you can go live asking me questions every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to dedicate a special time for guests and people to watch the show and to ask questions, whatever those questions are. And my cat is wanting some attention, but hey, no problem. We deal with it. Q&A time. I gathered a few questions that are frequently asked on how to create trust with your company online, and I gather them all up so you don't have to search for the answers by yourself. Let's go. Question number 1. I don't feel comfortable in front of the camera. How can I start live streaming? And that's a big, big struggle. I had the same struggle too, to be honest. If you look out and you dig a bit, you go back to the first content I created on YouTube, it was awkward. I needed a full script of the video before actually going live. And let's say I wasn't that much of a great public speaker, but you can check it out by yourself. And you got to realize that the only way you can get better is to commit to do it first. And guys, if you do a live stream, for example, or if you go into the camera, you're going to do some mistakes, and that's fine. That's fine. As long as you are genuine and you're not doing bad things with bad intentions behind it. If you're a good person with good intention, hey, we do mistakes all the time. And people actually like that because they can see that, hey, you're human. Sometimes, we cut out all the bad things. We don't want to show the little things that, hey, maybe are not that sexy. But those are the things that are actually the sexiest because people can relate to you. They can realize that guy is actually human and they can connect with you. And that's an incredible important part of building trust online. That's incredibly important. Now, I'm going to go on question number 2. What is the best platform to start live streaming? Hey, what is the best platform to start live streaming? Because there are a ton of options out there. Tons of options. And which one to pick? Which one should you pick? Well, I can tell you it depends. But the thing is, the best way to start live streaming is to pick a platform. Depends on whatever you want. I prefer doing YouTube or Facebook, but I personally take YouTube because I can have that as a video that's basically set in stone, and that people can watch after that. And I'm able to take that live stream that I just did and put it into other pieces of content. That's my personal preference, but I see a lot of people doing it on Instagram as well. Instagram has that proximity that's incredibly great. The problem with YouTube is that you have to build an audience and they have to know, hey, you go live each time at this specific time. While Instagram, you can pretty much go at it. Of course, having a specific time when people know you go live is better, but it's more genuine and fast. People can see that on their story, and if they're not doing anything there, they can just go on your live and you can get better results with that. So pick your options. I would recommend either YouTube or Instagram. Those are the 2 best that I would recommend to you. Next question number 3. What should I say when I go live? Okay, you pressed the button, now you're live. Congratulations. Now, what do you say? What do you say, man? That can be a great thing to figure out. But don't worry, guys. You have either 2 options. Either you prepare a little script beforehand, which I have, honestly, because I got a lot of things to cover up. So next to me here, I got a little outlines of what I'm going to share with you. But if you do that option, please, please, please don't write out all your live stream script, because if you're trying to learn that whole thing before you go, you're going to stress out. You're going to stress out a lot. I'm going to talk about further in this live episode how to not stress out on the live stream. But the thing is, either you prepare in advance, you take some little bullet points that you're going to talk about, but hey, don't be like, hey, I have to follow exactly my process, because you're going to do some mistakes along the way, and you have to be fine with that. Other way that you can do that, and that's the, hey, YOLO way to do it, but by far the most efficient to get better at talking and making sure you deliver a great presentation, is doing on live and basically have nothing prepared. That's incredibly important that you are able to do that, because when you are doing that and you're confident with it, that's going to help you in your life a lot. When you're in public, when you will be doing a video, you will have that permanent confidence that will come with you. And that's incredibly, incredibly important in all areas of life. I cannot stress that enough. So, okay, we're done with the questions. Now I'm going to share with you the screen again and go into the next section of today's episode, which are the top 3 mistakes that people make when they go live. And actually, I want to tell you a little story. Like, I started creating my first piece of content, I think that's now 4 years ago. And I was, as I told you before, I was feeling so awkward. And it took me maybe 1 to 2 years to get comfortable with the camera, to get comfortable talking with people. And it took me a long time. And after some time, when I went to college, I dropped out of college after the first year, but in the beginning of the year and pretty much all year long, I was out of 120 people, maybe, I was the best at speaking, which was pretty incredible, considering that I really struggled to make content and talk and articulate thoughts before. And people were like, man, you're so good. Like, what's your secret? And actually, well, I told them the secret is I practiced enough to get grades, but I wasn't great before. And they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me that I wasn't good, like naturally born good. I had to work on it, but I earned that skill. And I advise you to do the same thing. But along that way, I figured out a lot of things that, hey, you shouldn't do, little mistakes. And I want you guys to jump over those mistakes so you can go and progress as fast as possible and get the fruits of your labor as fast as possible. So I'm going to go back on the screen share right now and share with you the top 3 mistakes. Mistake number 1 is that you need to realize that it's only stressful because you want it to be. And that's incredibly important. You can take that in every areas of your life, If for you going live, making a video is stressful, the perception that you got of doing that activity is, hey, it should be stressful, your mind is a real thing, like is a weird thing, actually. Because it's going to give you that sensation, hey, it's stressful. But if you brainwash yourself enough and you think like, hey, that's actually not stressful, I love doing that. If you brainwash yourself enough, I guarantee you, you're going to love the time you're going to spend on the camera. I guarantee you. And I can seem to voodoo hoo-hoo kind of thing, but I promise you, on everything that I ever did in my life, I can guarantee you that each activity you take, if you decide to see it another way mentally, is going to totally change the game for you. So don't think about going live, making content as a stressful thing. If you perceive it as something like, hey, I'm excited to do that because I share value, you're going to see the change in the way you behave instantly. That's the power of your mind. Use it. Next mistake that you should avoid. Mistake number 2. Your whole day matters. Get some wins and confidence. That goes back a bit into what I just talked about. Let me go back with the camera and talk to you about that. What does that mean? You know those days when you wake up a bit sloppy, you slipped in a bit, and your whole day seems to go downward from that point. You know what I mean? That's exactly the same thing that's happening here. If you want to maximize the amount of confidence that you got when you go live, you need to make sure the whole day before that, especially the beginning of your day, the first hour, is top quality. Because when you have that power, confidence, you beat the sun up, you wake up early, you go and you do a workout, you give yourself at 110%. All of a sudden, you get that perception that you are a badass. And when you show up to the live, it can tell. Whether if you woke up, you downed a box of donuts, and then you basically played video games for hours before doing your live show. Who do you think is going to perform well if you put those 2 different examples together? You know who's going to perform the best, the person that gave it all before even going to the live show. So the whole day before that matters. It matters because it builds a whole lot of confidence that you're going to be able to carry when you're going to show up on that live or that video that you're going to make. But applies also to other areas of life, by the way. Now, next mistake number 3. Get regular before you become great. And that's a huge tip. I'm going deep into some mindset stuff today, but that's incredibly important because it's all mindset. It's not hard to go on live and to do a clubhouse. It's not hard to do those things if you do not perceive them as hard. But hey, guys, let me tell you something, especially if you're doing something live. You're going to do mistakes, as I told you. Always, it's going to happen all the time. You're not going to say the things the way you wanted them to say, to tell, like, I'm doing mistakes right now. But the thing is, I'm fine with it. That's not a problem. Everybody does mistakes. Everybody does mistakes. And the key, if you want to make sure you improve as much as possible, because even if you get perfect, which is never going to happen, but if you get really, really, really good, you're still going to make mistakes. You're going to be able to minimize the amount of mistakes you're going to make, sure. But if you want to get as great as you possibly can, you got to get regular. And that's why I'm doing those live shows. And I can guarantee you, I'm going to keep doing those for as long as whatever, at least a year, at least. And you're going to see when I've done episode 306 and 65, well, that guy, he improved. You will be able to look back at your episode 1 like, oh, there's an improvement right here. There's a huge improvement. But the only way to have that is to get regular. Start and get regular. Even if you are not good at the beginning. Even if people tell, oh, your thing sucks. And that's what happened for me. That's what happened for me, actually. When I started my YouTube channel, I was still in high school. And when I started creating content, especially in English, because in France, especially the place I live in, people are not really good at English. So they were like, who the fuck is that guy that's posting content that was like badly looked at first in English? Who the fuck is that guy? And I didn't have that much of a vocabulary and fluidity that I've got now in English, but I was really looked at it bad, and people were posting mean, like the meanest comments, like bad, like things that they just wanted to hurt you, you know, like honestly, they just posted that comment to basically hurt you. Yeah. The thing is, hey, I got a regular. Now I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing, and I'm getting great results with what I'm doing, but hey, funny thing is they're not doing as good as they hope to be. But anyway, that's me being a bit selfish. Now, going back to, hey, next thing, I always like to share some bonuses with you because we always like some free gifts. I'm going to tell you that, hey, you need to take action now and stop being a learner only and become a doer. Walk the walk, do the thing, because you know that that's the real thing that you should do. And as I told you, you need to get regular before you get good. Before that, you need to actually start and not overthink about it. I heard that great quote today. Maybe stories is a better word to qualify it. I'm not remembering it 100%, but I'm going to tell you. It's going to give you incredible value. Listen to that. This is a story of a boy and a horse that's in the forest. And the boy basically tells to the horse, I cannot go further. I don't see anything. The forest is really like dense and you cannot see anything. And the horse basically tells to the guy, hey, can you see one step in front of you? The guy's like, hey, yeah, I can. So do that step. That's incredibly important because, hey, you do not need to see that huge goal like, hey, I want to do those big content things like those guys that have been doing it for 10, 20 years. That seems scary. I'm not able to do that. Yes, that's true. But how did those guys do it? They started to create one Instagram post. They started to make one live video and my screen just shut down. They started to create one video. They started to make one live stream. They started with little things. The thing is, they started. And you have to start. That's the thing. And again, like, I don't know, like, again. You see, like, oftentimes you're going to have mistakes, things happen, like my screen with the presentation on the top of me is getting shut down. My camera is getting shut down for no reason. Hey, you're gonna have some little mistakes, some little quick things that are going to happen to you, but that's fine. Be fine with it. Nobody cares but you. Now, I'm going to go back to my screen to go into the next step of today's episode of Marketing Commandos. We do that room on Clubhouse and that live show on YouTube every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as you can see on the YouTube other side, wrong side. Every day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on the Clubhouse, same thing. If you want to join and ask your questions live, I will answer those and they will be on the show. That can be a great content or great way to do content with you. Huh? Maybe you realize that, hey, maybe you can go ask questions and use that as a piece of content. Little tip, but hey, why not? Let's go into the next step. How to make a badass live video. How can you make that? And I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't able to go live in the first place. And at the beginning, as I told you before in the live, I needed a full script of my video. It took me maybe around, I remember, 1 hour to write the whole thing on my PC. And after that, I just went on the video and it took so much time, like 2-3 hours to do a 10-minute video. That was so much work for such little amount of results. And after that, they figured out processes and things I couldn't do better in order to get better results and make sure it's easier. because I didn't want to write a script for every video I'm doing. Like right now, I'm posting maybe around like five, yeah, around I would say five in average videos on YouTube per day. So if I was writing a script for each one of those videos, I wouldn't sleep, to be honest. So I created a step-by-step process that you can follow in order to make sure that your live streams are as easy as possible and that you see as much return as possible from those live streams. So I'm going to go back and share the screen again, and I'm going to share with you that process. Step number one is press the go live button and don't overthink it. As I told you, take action first, figure out the rest later. Just don't think, don't let that thought in your head, oh, what are you going to say? Shut up. Shut that whole thing up and you take action. You press the live button. That's the first step. Number two, you make a live stream at regular hours. That's incredibly important to do that because people will know every day, every day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that there is something that they should check out if they want to get better at marketing their businesses online. Exactly the same thing with whatever you do. Make sure if you decide to go live or to do a show or YouTube videos, something, make sure that your audience knows, hey, every day at that specific time, or each Mondays, or each time at this specific time, I know this person is going to post something and I need to go jump on there. So make sure you are regular with the time you're posting. That's incredibly important. Next step, refresh the audience on when you're going live. Every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do the Marketing Commandos shows every day with the Clubhouse room as well, the Clubhouse Club Marketing Commandos, if you want to ask your questions. Refresh that because oftentimes you think that, hey, I just said it at the beginning, they will remember. Now, I can be sure that even if you did like 10 minutes of you only saying that, they maybe won't remember. Maybe they will remember for 5 minutes, but you don't realize how much you gotta pound things into the head of people to make sure they got, because they got other things that they will figure out. Let's say, for example, okay, the guy watched your show, the guy watched your show. They remember it. Okay, every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go to the Marketing Commandos show. And then they got something that's coming in your life. Then mom comes up, hey, like we got a big party going on. Hey, like we want you to do it. It's this night. We need you to prepare something. And then all of a sudden, like they have their minds on all of the businesses. You know what I mean? So that's why you need to remember a lot of times those things, even if you want to do a call to action as well, incitate an action or make them remember something. Like you never, basically a rule of thumb is basically that, hey, you cannot say too much. You cannot refresh a room enough. You cannot say too much of those things. Oh, I don't feel comfortable saying that again because I will maybe seem like an annoying person. No, because they won't remember. I guarantee you that. Next step, have a call to action. At the end of your live stream or any pieces of content, as I talked about in previous episodes, always have a call to action. Share the live stream with somebody that will benefit from it. Or buy my product. Check out this page. Check out this new thing I'm doing. Always incitate to have an action. Always. That's incredibly important because that's the only way you can give the best value to them. You can deliver great value to them via your post or your things that you are posting, but the best way to do that is make them buy or do the actions that you want them to take. Actions, as I told you, is always better and the best way to learn and to do whatever you want. Next, you sell your call to action with stories. How do you do that? I'm going to go over that in more details in a next episode on how you can, like, what are the scripts, what are the things that you need to say in order to use stories to sell. Because one-on-one selling is different than one-to-many. One-on-one selling, you are talking to the person, you identify their needs, and you propose a solution to them based on the needs that you uncovered. The thing is, you cannot do that on live. Like, I'm talking to a camera on a PC and nobody's responding to me. I cannot understand what your needs are. So you gotta have a different approach. And the thing is that stories are a great way to do that, to talk to an audience. Like if you see great public speakers, they always use stories because people actually remember stories better. If you teach something via a story, I think there is a chance like 64 around those lines, 64%. We have 64% more chances of remembering it because since the beginning of the times, like when we were caveman guys and girls, like we transmitted things through stories. So our brain is connected to that, to learning things that way. So use stories to sell your things because it will connect more with people, especially stories they can relate to. Those stories, you have to make sure they can relate to you on a deep level. I'm going to go over that in more details in another episode of Marketing Commandos. So make sure that you stay on live and at every day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you show up because, hey, you want to get that value. Really want to, because that's going to help you to create incredible wealth for your business online. Now, I'm going to go into the last step, the last section of our live episode today. I'm going to show you the screen. So we're going to go over with a little, how do you say that? Summary. I always struggle with that word. In French, it's résumé, which is close to resume, but nothing to travel on. Anyway, I'm going to share with you the final thoughts that we can take out from that episode. Number one, people do business with people they like and they can relate to. How can you build that trust? How can you build that relationship with your customer? You can go live, you can post more on a regular basis, as we talked about. But the thing is, you need to make sure that people can relate to you on a deep level, and the deeper they can relate to you, the higher for you the chances of you doing business with them. Follow that rule. Next one is that you need to be regular before being early. That's incredibly important. Incredibly important because you need to start and then just do things. Just do things. That can apply to everything. If you want to do sales calls, live episodes, live streams, videos, at the beginning, you're going to suck, like really suck. You're going to be bad. But over time, if you just stick to it, magically, I guarantee you it's magic. You don't even have to do anything. If you just keep doing it, automatically you're going to get better. That's the only way you can truly get good at anything in life. And especially when you're doing live streams and posting content, you have to figure it out. I've been posting content for 5 years before actually knowing, hey, what can I do to make sure that I can provide the right value? What's the right format? It took me 5 years to figure it out. Now I'm sharing with you guys the things to do and not to do so you can get that thing done in less amount of time. But the thing is, even if I give you the whole process, you have to apply it and get regular before you get good at it. Always, always. Now we're going to go over the last thought that we can figure out from this episode is always try to close your viewers with a call to actions. Always do that. Always do that, because let me tell you something. It's always great to share value, and that's the only way you can create posts that really matters and gets incredible results. But the thing is, the only way you can truly help somebody is to make sure that they do the actions that you say, that they purchase your course, that they get your product, that they comment to another person that, hey, that person may need some help as well. The only way you're going to help them is to make them take action. So always, 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 always have a call to action. Whatever the action is, but make them do something. That's the only way you're going to be able to help them. Now, going back on the screen, and that's it for today's episode of Marketing Commandos. I hope you liked it a lot. Please make sure you share the stream with somebody that can benefit from it and that wants to blow up his business or her business online. And remember, every day we are here, Marketing Commandos show, every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube Live or on the Clubhouse room. And you know what's really cool with that Clubhouse is you can jump on and you can put your hand up and you can jump on stage and actually ask questions. Whatever questions you have, maybe you have trouble making your sales page, maybe you have trouble making content. Hey, how do I do the marketing campaign? What's the best way to do a follow-up? Anything. Ask questions and I answer them to you live. So go jump on the Clubhouse. Honestly, if I had to pick one, I would say both, because you get the visual with the YouTube and you get the benefit of asking questions on Clubhouse. But the thing is, with the Clubhouse, you get some incredible value if you join the club Marketing Commandos, because as I told you, you can ask your questions, anything that you want to ask. You don't have to pay for a guy for a consultation that's gonna be, hey, 1 or 2K. for you to ask a question or two. You can go for free, 100% free. Go on the Clubhouse, ask your questions. Any problems that you are facing, I will answer those and help you out. That was it for today's episode. I hope that you had a great time and that you learned a lot of things. Now, let's go and have a great day. That was a daily dose of marketing with Marketing Commandos. And it was Gabriel, your host.